Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Of course, my name is John. I am Orphan Car Garage. I'm now located in the town of Pembroke, Massachusetts, which is about 45 minutes or so south of Boston. Faithful viewers remember that we were about 30 minutes south of Boston before at our old location in Abington. We are now in the town of Pembroke in the beautiful state of Massachusetts. So our location has changed, but our availability of interesting, quirky, fun, and special interest cars obviously has not. Hence the car here in front of me that I'm about to profile you for today and is offering for sale. This car is another car that's come out of my private collection. As I've said many times before, I'm in the wrong business because cars that I buy to sell or I bring in to consign, I fall in love with myself and end up wanting to keep. This car is a perfect example of that. This car I purchased from a friend down in Florida who was asking me to help him sell it. I ended up purchasing it. I registered it, I titled it, I put it on my Haggerty policy and drove this car around quite a bit the first year I had it. This year it's been sitting around a lot. So I've decided to let it go to another loving caretaker. This of course is a Chrysler Lebaron. This Lebaron is a K-car design Lebaron. Great story behind these cars. Lee Iacocca had become president of Chrysler. We all know that in the late 1970s to help try to save the brand. And he did so in large part with the introduction of the K-car platform. And the great thing about the K-car platform is that you could get so many models out of the same platform. And that indeed is what happened. Even the famous minivan that he introduced in 1984, for 1984, same year as this car, was based on that K-car platform. So Chrysler got a lot of mileage out of that platform and literally saved their life. One thing Lee also wanted to do is bring some style back to the brand, get some attention. He drove around Detroit in a Dodge Aries that had been converted into a convertible in the early 1980s. I think 1981 he might have done that. And the car gained so much attention and so many people wanted to purchase the car, he decided to revive the convertible. Now, as you know, the convertible had been dead in Detroit since 1976. With the elimination of the Cadillac Eldorado. Chrysler themselves hadn't built a convertible since the very early 1970s. I think maybe 1971. So we decided to have some fun, and he introduced a K-car variant convertible, not on the Aries or Reliant line, but the next step up from that, which was the newly introduced Chrysler LeBaron, which was a few steps up from the Aries and Reliant. He decided to offer this LeBaron, and also its cousin, the Dodge 400 at the time, a convertible model. The cars were an instant hit. Dealers couldn't keep them in stock, and they continued. And eventually the Chrysler LeBaron became the #1 selling convertible in the United States for several years running through many different model changes. This particular car, as you notice right away, is a striking version. Love it or hate it, I happen to love them. This I call the Town and Country. Now, I don't think Chrysler actually labeled the convertibles the Town and Country. They'd use that term in advertising for these cars, but nowhere on the car does it say Town and Country, like it does, I believe, on the wagon version. But this, to me, is absolutely a Town and Country edition LeBaron convertible. The Town and Country edition was offered for the first time in 1983. Now, the convertible, I hadn't stated this yet, but the convertible was introduced for the 1982 model year, 1 year after Lee drove around Detroit in his 1981 Aries convertible. So in 1982, the convertible returned. In 1983, he stepped it up with this Town and Country package. This particular car is a 1984. They only built about 1,100 of these in 1984. The Town and Country was available in 83, 84, 85, and 86. I think in 86, they only made about 500 or so of them. 1984, the year of this car, about 1,100 of them. So it's a rare car, indeed, something that gets attention everywhere it goes. That's why I bought it. Also why I bought it is because when these cars came out, I was a teenager. I was about 12 or 13 years old when the convertible was reintroduced, and I absolutely fell in love with it because as a kid, as a very young kid, I had always loved vintage convertibles. So when the convertible came back as a new car, and I thought it was a rather sharp-looking car myself, I still do today, I loved it. I remember tearing out ads that were in Time magazine and hanging them on my bedroom wall for this exact car. This was an expensive car, certainly not something a 13-year-old could even fathom purchasing. This was the most expensive Chrysler you could buy in 1984, more expensive than the New Yorker and the Fifth Aves at the time. I think, well, the Imperial was dead by 1984, so I think the Imperial may have taken that spot, but by 1984, the Imperial was gone. This was the most expensive Chrysler you could buy, believe it or not. Probably one of the reasons why it was limited production of 1100. They sold many more Lebaron and Dodge convertibles than they did these town and country package convertibles, but I absolutely love this. 1984 saw some very nice changes to the model. In 1983, 1982, the convertibles didn't have quarter windows here. So the convertible top came right up to the door window. 1984 added a quarter window, which on this car is power. All 4 windows on this car are power, and all 4 power windows work beautifully. Also in 1984, Chrysler gave you a little bit bigger back seat. That's not saying much. The back seat is still small. But if you look at this back seat and then look at the back seat of a 1982 or 1983 Chrysler LeBaron convertible, you'll see a big difference. 1982 and 83s, I think even young children would be uncomfortable back there. It was almost like, why bother? But in 84, they added the windows, added the back seat, a larger back seat, made some other improvements to the car, and it really was coming together nicely. All town and countries came fully equipped. I'm not even sure there were any options, including this luggage rack on the trunk, which is rather sporty. This car's color is called dark mahogany metallic, I believe, which is rarely seen on these. You did see this in the advertising. In fact, I have an advertisement for this car that shows this color in the advertisement. Most of these that you see are white. You see a lot of white ones. This one is the classic dark mahogany metallic. This is a 66,000 mile car. This is mostly all original. I did have the hood and the header panel repainted professionally at a very high cost. I wanted it done right. So this hood's been repainted, and the only reason why I did that is because the clear coat was starting to fade a little bit. It was original thin paint. It was 40-year-old paint. Excuse me. I chose not to do the trunk, and you can see that there's still some hazing in the paint. The paint is very thin back here. Again, it's over 40 years old, 41 years old, so you can't expect a whole lot. But I chose not to paint the trunk lid with the hood because I didn't want to disturb this luggage rack. I didn't want anything to happen to this luggage rack in a removal for painting, because those parts would be tough to find. There's also a little bit of fading here on the top of the rear bumper. Again, original paint. Let's face it, when Chrysler built these cars, they had a shelf life in mind, and it wasn't 40 years. This car has amazing survivor. A lot of that due to the fact that this car spent its life mostly down south, Virginia to be exact, and then Fort Lauderdale, Florida, which is where I bought it. So you'll find no rust on this car at all. A lot of these cars were plagued with rust, especially up here in New England. The rocker panels, lower fenders, quarter panels, and floorboards were very thin and rusted very, very quick. This car is not affected by that at all. Just a really nice, cool presentation. These cars have a large following. You'd be surprised. Parts availability is not difficult unless you get to town and country specific stuff, like the luggage rack, or this is plastic trim. This is just Dynoc wallpaper. But that plastic trim is difficult to find if you ever needed it, because the cars were so limited. But mechanically, electronically, you'd be surprised. Parts for this are very easy to find. The previous owner found a set of brand new in the box Mopar wire wheel covers with center caps. Those are brand new. They've been on the car about 2 years. Not a scratch or mark on them. The tires are also very recent. Between myself and Bob, the previous owner, I don't want to tell you how much money we put into this car in mechanical improvements. This car, as you can see, is running, and that's because when I got here today to do the video, the battery was very weak. So I'm letting it run to charge up the battery. That will be resolved before the car goes to its next owner. Don't blow me up in the comments over that. I wanted to get this video done today while the sun was shining. We're gonna get some rain this week, and I just wanted to get it done. I will resolve the low battery issue. That's why we have the car running. If I got in to start it for you during a demonstration and it clicked, that would have been rather embarrassing. So the car is running. You can hear it running. It runs very, very well, but you'll also notice by hearing it run, if you're a seasoned Chrysler person, it has the 2.6 Mitsubishi sourced 4-cylinder engine under the hood. This car came available with that 2.6 engine and also a turbocharged 2.2 liter fuel injected engine. This car has the 2.6. Now, both those engines have their pros and their cons. The good thing is about this car, the cons that are known for being inherent in that 2.6 engine have been resolved. Most namely the carburetors. These cars were carbureted from the factory. The carburetor from the factory was a Mikuni Japanese carburetor with an electronic solenoid on the side of it. So you can imagine that, coupled with all the emissions, these cars were very difficult to tune in right when they were brand new. I worked at the dealerships in the 1980s, and the mechanics did not love working on these carburetors. The carburetor, the Mikuni carburetor in this car is gone, in the trash. This carburetor has been converted to a Holley 2-barrel carburetor. And as you can see, it runs like a top. You would swear the car was fuel injected. Also, the previous owner removed all the emissions crap. These cars were loaded down with emissions garbage under the hood. Air pumps, tubing, hoses. It's all been removed. So yes, if you're a California buyer, it's doubtful this car will pass smog. So you guys can move on to the next car as we speak, if you don't want to just watch for the fun of it. So yes, all the smog crap, and I will say crap, has been removed from this car, and the car absolutely runs like a top. You can hear it running. Idles beautifully. Inside it gets even better. All these Town and Countries came with the optional Mark Cross leather interior. In fact, it says Mark Cross there on the armrest. This is a really cool two-tone brown, like a dark and a light mahogany. I think these interiors were very, very classy for the day, for 1984. Just amazing. I love the color. This interior combination wasn't available in the 1986s, only the 83s, 4s, and 5s, and it's my favorite. I love this dark brown and light brown combination. They're all loaded, like I said, the Town and Countries. We've got power windows and power door locks, which work on this car. We've got digital instrumentation, which works on this car. And yes, 66,000 miles, 66,652 on the miles. All that digital works. I even have a spare, a new unused cluster still wrapped in plastic that will go with the car should that ever give anybody trouble. Those clusters are hard to find. I have a brand new one in the wrapper that will go with this car as a spare. But as you can see, it's all working fine. 66,652 is the original mileage on this car. We've got the original equalizer stereo, which really doesn't work hardly at all. I use my phone for music. They all came with air conditioning, these Town and Countries, and I'm going to tell you right now, if you charge the system, you'll get cold air for a short time before it loses its pressure. The previous owner down in Fort Lauderdale spent a lot of money on the air conditioning system in this car and finally just gave up. The refrigerant just will not hold itself in the system, and his mechanic, after many attempts, was unable to find the leak. So we're going to call the air conditioning system in this car inop. But if you charge it, you might get a week or a month or 2 months out of it. I'm just not going to guarantee that. I'm going to call it inoperable. Everything else in the car works as designed. We've got a power convertible top. Convertible top on this car is beautiful. It's tan. Got a glass back window, which was also new for 1984. The 82 and 83 convertibles had a plastic window. So 84 and 85 and 86 is definitely the one you want to look at. Dashboard is very, very nice, clean, no cracks. The car's obviously been garaged its entire life. You can see that there's no rust down here at all. There's some reflection off the ground, but there's no rust or flaws under there. Yes, it does talk. I know you're going to ask, and I will make it talk before we end this video. I'm going to open the hood for you now real quick and show you that 2.6 4-cylinder engine running like a top. There's that replaced carburetor. MCA jet. That's the Mitsubishi engine. It says Mitsubishi right on it. All the emissions back here has all been removed. These cars were laden with emissions. Air conditioning is all still here, just doesn't hold a charge. Battery is practically new. I'm going to look into replacing that under warranty before the car goes to its next owner. Admittedly, the engine compartment in this car is not professionally detailed because I drove it. I drove this car I didn't use it as a show car. I drove it, had fun. And everywhere I went, this thing turned heads. Yeah, some people would laugh, and I'd laugh along with them. Many people had never seen one, didn't know what it was. It's a lot of fun to drive. A lot of bang for the buck. These cars are extremely affordable. This one's going to be no different. Undercarriage is just as clean as the exterior. And there's pictures of that along with everything else on my website, orphancargarage.com. Pictures of the top in the up position. It's a beautiful tan convertible top, like I said. Let's make it talk before I give you the price, because that really gives it some value. So I'm going to purposely not close the door all the way. I'm going to leave it ajar. Put the car in gear and start to move and listen.
Please fasten your seatbelts. A door is ajar.
So there you go. If that voice sounds familiar to you, it's because it's a Texas Instrument voice. As a kid, I had a Speak and Spell, which was a game that you could for children that helped children learn to spell, and Lord knows I needed that. And the voice on that Speak and Spell was the same voice in this Chrysler, because the voice was supplied by Texas Instruments. He even says thank you. I don't know if you caught that. So there you go. My personal 1984 Chrysler LeBaron Town and Country convertible, offered here only at Orphan Car Garage. Man, I'm going to miss this car as I walk around and look at it. Look at the condition of the wood paneling. So many times you see those and they're all faded out. A true testament to this car being garaged its entire life. Just a really cool car. Orphan Car Garage pricing on this 1984 Chrysler LeBaron convertible, Town and Country edition, $7,900. $7,900. So much fun for the money. And all the work that's been put into this car. I've got a whole binder of receipts. I personally just had the power steering rack and pinion gear replaced. And let me tell you, that was not inexpensive. It was leaking and I had it replaced. That's just the tip of the iceberg. Brakes, tires, suspension, that carburetor, everything has been attended to. You really just need to get in this car and drive it and enjoy it and hopefully preserve it. As I said earlier in the video, Chrysler never intended this car to still be on the road this many years later. So let's continue that and prove them wrong. Give me a call, 508-954-8090. Check this car out on my website, orphancargarage.com. Like and subscribe to us here. And as always, thank you for your support. I wouldn't be here without you guys, and I really appreciate that. Stick around. We'll have another cool one for you very soon from a different decade. I think you'll find it almost as interesting, if not more. Thanks, and until the next one, we'll see you down the road.